Bingo! Known for its memes in fandom spaces as old people's favourite form of gambling, and most recently, at least to my knowledge, as a fun way of tracking goals, alongside punch cards, which I might have to make this year because they look very fun. So, at the end of 2024, I made 2 bingo cards, one for fanfic writing goals and one for art goals. So I thought I'd go over how many of those 2025 art goals were completed, which, if I had to give you a guess, I am going to say aren't many, because I forgot about this card 1 week into the year. Just completely forgot about it. I only remembered its existence because a friend messaged me asking me about the template for the start of this year, which is just the standard template from Canva, by the way. Let's take a look at this bingo card. I'm going to go from left to right, top to bottom. First thing, complete an animatic. I did this, sorta. For context, when I say full animatic, that comes from the fact I, up until that point, never finished any projects. So my goal was just to finish something. It doesn't have to be like a full song, it doesn't have to be very long, just something. I planned something, I complete something. And I did 2 animatics this year, both 2 very short snippets of songs, one ABBA and one for Rule 18. And I'm very proud of myself. I'm not good at making animatics, but I carried through from start to finish, and that's something I can celebrate. Do a self-portrait. Again, I did do that. In fact, it was my first illustration of 2025. It was New Year themed and set the theme for the year quite well, with me stepping out of my comfort zone and trying to draw backgrounds and more movement and expression. Even if I'd lose that bravery towards the end of the year, 2025 had a good start and, 10-year redraw. I did not do this. I do remember which drawing I intended to redraw. It's this Jack Frost piece. Maybe I'll do that this year, even if it'll now be an 11-year redraw. Do art fight again. Yes, not only did I do it again, I managed to do more art than the year before, 60 entire pieces, more characters. I experimented a lot doing quite a few background pieces, some simple animations, some cool poses. I love art fights so much. I cannot wait for it to roll around again. I get so into it, and every year I feel like I improve my art a ton during this event. Paint, and then within commas, traditional art. And yes, again, kind of sad I didn't do that 10-year redraw, otherwise I'd have had bingo. Oh well, I did paint. Not only did I painted big, and I mean that literally. I got selected to paint this slab of wood that's taller than me that'll be part of a fire, which, if you don't know, it's this huge monument that go up once a year and are up for about a weekish before being burnt down. They've been a huge inspiration of mine for years, so getting to contribute to one was great fun. I've also done smaller traditional paintings such as this therapy that lives behind my plants, but obviously that's not as fun to talk about. On to the second row. Character turnaround. I did not do that one. Create background for digital device. I also didn't do that one. However, I did finally remember to set my desktop background so it changed every few minutes, and I keep mostly a bunch of my own art in this folder because, well, usually, you spend 16 hours on a drawing that then gets 10 views on social media, and I think that's sad. So by forcing myself to look at them a bit more, appreciate it a bit more, I think it's giving that art a second chance to live a little. Next, sprite art. I didn't do that. I should have, because I bought a sprite back in 2024. It was an impulse buy at fault of the TikTok algorithm. I regret it, simply because impulse buying is bad, but of all the stuff I could have bought, it's not the worst thing, and I'm certain I will get around to it eventually. I was very into sprite art, which, by the way, I mean pixel art. I'm just used to using the word sprite because I existed in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon fandom back when sprite comics were all the rage. I love pixel art. As a kid, I will try to get around to that this year. Complete one of my art courses. Well, this is one of those time isn't real moments because I don't know. I probably have, but maybe I didn't. If I did, it would have been one of the ones by Aaron Blaze because I bought a lot of his courses and loved them. But because I usually follow these courses on pen and paper, I've genuinely got no way of figuring out if I did that this year or not. I don't know. Enter a competition. I didn't do that. Set up craft space. Wait, that was this year? Oh my god, okay. Time is not real, but yes, I did set up my craft space. I've had my craft room for less than a year. That doesn't sound right. And yet it is. I will one day, once I tidy that space, do a full craft room tour. It's basically my spare guest room, but I put some desks in it, so it functions as a sewing room / painting space as well as a guest room, and I love it. I am so happy that I have that space. I know younger me would be extremely, extremely jealous. And yeah, I'm super happy to have a space for arts and crafts. Create first high-effort video with art. While the wording of this is weird and that's on me, I know what I meant. I meant start YouTube. Or like up my quality on TikTok. And the answer is yes, I am now on YouTube. Hi. And the first video on this channel, which is me testing 10 different art mediums, was definitely a very high effort video. It took way over 100 hours in total to make, and I'm very proud of it. I intend to continue to make high effort videos throughout the year. Keyword, try. Unfortunately, I have just spent 2 weeks. No, we're in February. I have just spent 5 weeks too sick to talk and unable to do anything. Oh my god, I'm recording this in February. I shouldn't be recording this in February. Anyway, hopefully my voice will stick with me for most of 2026 and there will be more videos and I will improve and it's gonna be fun. Do figure drawing. This one is so random. Of course, I've done figure drawing at least once during 2026. I do figure drawing whenever I hit a really bad art block. I was obviously running out of ideas to put on the list at this point. Create 3D scene. No. I don't think I even opened Blender once this year, which is bad. I hope to do more in 2026. Blender's really fun, a lot easier than people say, and definitely worth getting into if you're into mixed media. Draw more original pieces. You know what? Yeah, I did that. By this, I mean, by original, I mean not fan art. I didn't do as much original work as I'd have liked, but I did do way more than in previous years. So there you go, I'm counting it. A fully rendered comic page. I did not do this, but I would like to. This is one of those things I'm scared of doing, but I know it would be very fulfilling. I have done short comics years ago of scenes from fanfics. They took forever, but I still look back at those pages with pride, so I might have to pick a fanfic I love and just do a scene in comic format. Own a printer. This is the third how has it been less than a year moment. How have I owned this printer less than a year? In other words, yes, I now own a printer. It's a very old laser printer that only does black and white, but I love it. It's amazing. It literally doesn't even need drivers. It just plugs into a USB port and hasn't failed me once. Amazing. I also own a mini photo printer my mum and siblings got me for Christmas, which is... That's on me for not silencing notifications. Where was I? I also own a mini photo printer my mum and siblings got me for Christmas, which is really exciting. 2 printers. Wow. Dreams fulfilled. Do more art journaling. I'm going to say no. I didn't do much journaling in 2025 of any kind. I used to journal a ton, but recently every time I open a journal it becomes sad, which is an understatement. But I cannot just let out my emotions right now because there's too many, and I think I need to wait until I can afford to see a professional because the amount of self-hate that comes out of me whenever I try to be open with myself is bordering on dangerous. So this is definitely a goal I think might just need sidelined because I don't know. Make a character reference sheet. Yeah, I did several of these for Artfight and will be making more this year. I really enjoy making character reference sheets. Gives me nostalgia to like DeviantArt days. Some chibi art. Yep, did plenty of that. Again, quite a lot during Artfight, but then I also had a few little chibi phases throughout the year. They're just fun. They're good for when you have art block. Print some work out. Physical copies for safeties. Oh, I remember writing this goal after losing a ton of old digital art due to some corruption. I also lost a ton of photos literally like a week ago as my hard drive corrupted. So you'd think I'd be prioritizing this goal, but no, I have not done this yet. I will. Some illustrated game, dress up or otherwise. This is a fun one, but also one I didn't do. In 2023, I think it was, I did make a fully functioning drag and drop dress up game for Tangled the series. It was a lot of fun to draw. I hated coding it though, and ultimately a lot of people told me they wanted to play it, but then like only 3 people actually showed up once it was finished, so that kind of made me sad. I think it was probably a good call to not repeat that. Maybe someday when I'm actually into coding and that's not a very painful process to me, then I'll repeat this goal. Draw a dragon. Another running out of ideas one. Yes, I did draw many dragons, mostly for art fight. I love dragons. I should draw more dragons in 2026. Set up a portfolio. Nope. This goal, though, shows how confident I was at the start of 2025. Like, I actually thought my art was good enough to do a portfolio. Delusional. Love that for younger me. I want some of that delusion back. Maybe I will set up a portfolio in 2026. Not to get hired, because let's be honest, my art is mediocre at best, but because I still like my art, I still appreciate it, and it deserves to take up some space. I didn't do bingo. Not surprising. I think I did do quite a bit better than I expected though. Had things been organised slightly differently, I might have done bingo. Do I suggest this method of keeping goals? Depends. If you're like me and going to forget you made it in a week, no. Otherwise, it looks cute. Will I be setting art goals for myself this year? Sort of. I'm currently starting the Challenge 52, which is a year-long art challenge for improving art by a furrow. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. Also, finally starting the Draw a Box free course. And I think those 2 things, plus Art Fight come July, and this channel is probably already too many art goals, so I think I'll stick with those. I'll probably do a video about what I'm doing to improve my art this year, maybe next week. We'll see. Depends on my health, to be honest. Like, I can kind of feel my voice getting away from me. And keep in mind, I've given it 5 weeks to recover. Like, I do not know what is wrong with my body this year. I'm a bit worried. But, I mean, there aren't any doctor appointments available, so what we're going to do, we're going to start the year sick and have a good year regardless. That's the plan. I am really hoping your year is going better than mine. With that said, thank you for watching. Did you have any art goals for 2025 and how did they go? And yes, I am very sorry that I'm asking you over a month late, but maybe that's given you more time to reflect. Would you like to make a bingo card for 2026? I feel like there should be a 3rd question here, but I can't think of one, so bye.